Here's a story I have to sit down for.
Oh, shit. A sit-down story, Dan? Oh, shit. And a hard sit-down. Okay, get your mic.
Okay.
Get it to the mouth. All right.
Okay. All right. Papa Bear's going to tell you a story. Okay. Here we go. Where is the... Okay. So the story starts on Thursday when I get a text message from Dad on my phone. And it's very nice. Thursday, 12:28 p.m. As your father, I wanted to text you to tell you how proud of you I am for your Emmy nomination for that pickle show you worked so hard on. And as a good son, 6 hours later, I text, Dad, thanks. But here's something of even higher value. I got a Tesla. Because my dad, I'm like, I want to bond with my dad about...
He's a car guy.
Because stuff that, it's oh my God, I'm bonding with my dad. I'm texting you right now while it drives itself. It was true, don't judge me.
also the last thing that we ever read.
And then, so this is where my dad starts to really blow my mind. Already, I was like, that was nice. Congratulations to me.
Yeah.
And he says, but what about the smudges on the touchscreen? Couldn't you afford the Edison? And I went, holy shit, my dad is making references to my television show, Great Minds with Dan Harmon, which is a really deep cut.
Yeah. On top of an Edison joke, which you never hear.
And then my dad goes, nothing like self-congratulatory callbacks. I'm like, what? My dad is like so hip. So at this point, it's important. The story happens in layers, and it gets a little thick. And there's shit to unpack, but the first thing I need to do now is bring up the director of Great Minds with Dan Harmon, Heath Cullens. So before we start to unpack this, Heath, I guess the first question is, do you remember when and why I put your number in my phone as Dad?
He asks everybody.
I forgot, for sure.
No.
Don't feel bad, because he asks everybody this question.
How many people? I do, in fact, remember. I wish it were more tawdry than it actually is. So we, as Dan mentioned, worked on Great Minds together, and it was not the highest of budgeted shows, so we didn't have VFX for things necessarily, other than the really awesome stuff in the lab that I'm sure you all saw. But we couldn't burn in the image of Dad calling on his cell phone, so we had to shoot it, we had to have an actual phone. Probably not this one, because you have a Tesla now, so you've got a newer phone probably as well.
The Ron Funches episode, he plays Idi Amin.
And his dad had to call.
And the resolution to the conflict with Idi Amin, who, it turns into a hostage situation, but then, my dad calls on the phone, and Idi Amin enjoys talking to him about politics. And they kind of calm, I don't know, they calm each other down until Edie turns to dust. But so we had to put we put your phone number in my phone as Dad, so that when you called me, it would say Dad, and then I forgot. But it's notable, the important thing about the story, the absolute tragedy of this story, is that it's not just me thinking that I have a new wonderful relationship with my dad.
Nope. No, it's not.
And Heath is not trying to deceive me.
No, I'm not.
If you scroll back through this window, there are a half a dozen times over the years where the following conversations happen. It's like, he'll go, it'll say let's see. Thursday, May 10th, 12:42 p.m. He texts, "Congrats on that ginormous renewal." As recently as the 70 episode thing, I remembered, and I say, "Thanks, Dad." you're still in my phone as Dad. So I remember and I know. So he thinks I remember and I know. So the really sad part of this, the whole thing that happens that starts on Thursday, is that I'm thinking I have a new, like, late life friendship with my dad, and Heath thinks that Dan Harmon's being really nice to him. So now knowing that it's Heath, and that Heath doesn't know I don't know it's my dad, and that I don't know it's not my dad. Let's start just over again, and you can read your part, and I'll read my part.
Perfect.
So, and then it continues until last night, at which point I realized when I think Cody pointed out, or no, you did. Oh God, and then at a certain point, I was like, you have to come on the show, and we have to share this. This is the worst thing that's ever happened to two people.
Yeah.
Like, okay. So, you want to just start with As Your Father?
As Your Father?
Yeah.
Thursday, 12:28 p.m. As your father, I wanted to text you to tell you how proud of you I am for your Emmy, spelled E-M-M-I-E, because I thought that would be more dad-like, for your Emmy nomination for that pickle show you worked so hard on.
See, now I get it. You're talking like a dad. But you weren't trying to fool me.
No.
You were doing the same bit that we kept doing.
Verisimilitude.
I just forgot. I just drank that part of the Rolodex away. And so I go, Dad, thanks, but here's something of even higher value. I got a Tesla. I'm texting you right now while it drives itself.
But what about the smudges on the touch screen? Couldn't you afford the Edison? Nothing like congratulatory callbacks.
Self-congratulatory because he knows that it's the director of the show that he's referencing, so he's not trying to fool me. But I'm like, oh my God. I'm texting Cody in the meantime. I'm like, my dad, look who I'm sending her screen grabs. I'm looking, he's making Great Minds references.
Oh, this is on some Make-A-Wish shit.
So I sent a video of the inside of my Tesla. It was a video of just going from the dashboard to the steering wheel because I wanted to show that it was driving itself, but it doesn't look like any. It looks the same as a normal car because you're just shooting from here. You can't tell that it's driving itself. And so I just sent an unremarkable video showing that, and I said I always want to show people a video of me not driving, but the LA cops are too aggressive about pulling over for texting and driving. They're not too aggressive. I support the law about distracted driving. I was but I just meant they're too aggressive for me to get that video in full, like I'd have to do so much that I would be distracted driving. So then my dad says,
I send a video of me fakely self-driving my Hyundai Elantra on the highway, and it says NBD.
I'm like, oh my God, my dad says NBD.
My Hyundai can do that too, with the video.
And then he shows a video, and it's like the Hyundai dashboard, but then like a crazy camera shake, and the sound of what I thought was my dad doing a crazy character going, oh, God damn it! And he was like affecting this fun voice and doing this comedy bit, and Heath just pointed out backstage that had I watched the entire video, which I always stopped, even though I kept showing it to Cody and going, my dad's doing bits. It cuts to black because the phone falls down. After 6 seconds of which Heath picks up the phone, looks into the lens, and goes, whatever, like does some self-effacing bit, which I've never seen.
No.
And so I could, if only I had watched the video all the way. Instead, I just text absolutely sincerely, ha ha. So then days go by. So I walk into Little Dom's the other day, Saturday night. No, Saturday? Yeah, it says Saturday. Okay, yes, Saturday night.
2 days later.
I walk into Little Dom's with Cody. John Hamm is sitting there. I'm just gonna go ahead. Oh, wait, who cares? Like, whatever. He's sitting there with Edgar Wright and
Paint the picture. All of them.
I'm not gonna name everybody.
Was it? But like Joaquin Phoenix, and like Cicely Tyson.
It was a table of stars.
A Batman. A table of stars.
Perched in the booth there at the not the head. It's a little booth, and it's very clearly Warren Beatty, and it's like that's famous even for L.A. Like crazy famous, like legendary icon. Like you don't expect to see Warren. You expect to see Quentin Tarantino like at a drive-through or something, like the back of his head. Oh, that's Quentin Tarantino, or maybe even Harrison Ford. Like oh look, he's jogging. You just never expect to see Warren Beatty.
No.
And I saw him, and then I did what you're supposed to do. I ignored him and pretended he was a ghost, and like talked to John Hamm about how's business. Where do you live now? Oh, that's a good neighborhood. And then we go over to the booth, and we're like Cody and I are like wow, that's pretty neat. Like Warren
that's the real
Beatty,
deal.
that's a big deal. Like seeing Warren Beatty. Didn't really meet him as such. Just was introduced to him, but. This is Warren, so I met Warren Beatty.
Okay.
Technically, and also like I don't know what else. What more do you need? From that exchange, I met Warren Beatty. That's as good. That's peak Warren Beatty relationship, right? I met him. I'm not saying there's not more fulfilling things in store for you if you are his neighbor. I'm just me. Like, what am I going to do with a Warren Beatty friendship? I'm like, this is it. I got to share it with somebody.
Right.
But who do you share it with? Like, I don't want to come off like a star fucker to my LA friends. And the truth is, even Cody's a little young to understand what a big deal it is to see Warren Beatty in person. Do I have an older friend who's from out of town?
Nope.
Wait a minute. I think I said it out loud, and Cody was like, well, your dad's been pretty cool lately. So now I text my dad. But it's not my dad. I'm texting Heath Cullens, the director of Great Minds, who thinks he's my friend. He has good reason to think that I would just text him the following, I just met Warren Beatty at a restaurant! Exclamation point.
What? Who are you? 1930s Hollywood royalty? If I wasn't playing a dad, I promise I would have come up with something better than that, but I was trying to stay in the voice. Parentheses, in my mind, he's 120 years old. Then I said, was it at Chick-fil-A? I heard he loves waffle fries.
And then meanwhile, I'm trying to take a picture, like I'm trying to do a selfie thing because he's in a booth behind us. I didn't want to be like I just thought maybe, you never know, if the camera's on top, maybe if I do one of these, maybe you'll see like the top of Warren Beatty's head like over me and Cody. But it ends up just being a nice selfie of me and Cody. And that's fine too. And I send it to my dad and I say, this would have been my attempt at a Periscope shot at him, but there's no way, so it's just us having met Warren Beatty. I'll tell you what, man, he looks way older than you.
Because it's important to
Clearly, he's
compliment your
playing
dad.
along.
And this is where I feel bad, but I'm trying to flatter my dad. I'm like, he looks like a mummy that went to a barber and said, make my hair look like Warren Beatty.
Maybe that's why you don't get to meet people.
I'm really excited that Dan is texting me these on Saturday night, like unsolicited, unannounced. So I keep playing along. So he looks better than I expected.
But you see, you're not playing my dad at this point, right? You're just being Heath.
Yeah.
You think I know you're Heath.
Yes.
Yeah, okay, all right.
But I didn't want to like fuck up I didn't want to fuck up the bit. I thought you were still enjoying that.
Okay, so you...
But that you knew it was me.
Okay, yeah, okay.
I'm not going to not yes
So you think I know that it's you, and
yes.
and you think that even though I know it's you, I'm like I'm still treating you like my dad.
I thought you, yeah.
Okay.
We're entertained by it in some
And so
way.
you say...
And Cody being there also made me feel that way.
Right.
Please don't fight, guys.
So then you say, no, it's your, so I say, so he looks better than I expected, is what I
Right.
ask.
And I say, here's the important takeaway. You are like 3 times sexier than Warren Beatty. This is
Don't look at me.
This is how cool a son I would be. By the way, if look how low my bar is for a dad before I open the fucking floodgates. And I'm like your pal. Like I'm giving you like inside Hollywood shit. I'm calling you sexier than Warren Beatty. Like, all you gotta do is like congratulate me on an Emmy nomination, and I will be your son every 8 hours via text message. So I say you're 3 times sexier than Warren Beatty.
I say, boy, you two look like you have that post-Beatty glow, though. Are you both pregnant now? He's old but virile.
This is where it gets really sad to me.
It takes a turn.
Oh,
Because meanwhile,
this
Cody
is
and I
where
are
it gets
talking.
sad?
Because Cody and I are talking the whole time, and the conversation isn't about Warren Beatty. It's about my dad. I'm like, how come? So then I text. Cody says you and Mom should come out to California, and we could go to Death Valley with Cody's dad. You'd probably like it in the desert.
I want to let you all know that you are falling for the same shit.
What do you mean? What are they falling for? They're going like, ugh, this hurts.
There was a like, oh, daddy, oh. we all got wrapped up in this shit. It's beautiful, but it's sad. But it is beautiful.
It's sad.
And it's sad.
I mean, the beauty is only just go. It's a sad balloon. Maybe it's inflated by beauty. Like you blow it up with beauty,
Yeah.
but it's a balloon made of sadness.
Yeah. We like to call it the old piss-stained clown.
All right, so I invite you and Mom out to California, and you say,
I'm not sure we can handle the heat. It is a dry heat, though.
So now at this point, I'm thinking, am I correct in assuming that maybe you're starting to go, oh shit, does he think?
I'm like, I want to put on it the faux dadness of it enough that you're like,
Right.
haha, fuck you,
Right.
whatever.
Dry
Not that-
heat, oh, he's really going over the top with this dad character.
But also, at this point, and Emma, my wife, can attest to this, I'm like, oh, he's really like playing, we're like riffing, and I didn't want to ruin it, but I was also just like, what do I say now? And here's the sad part this is much sadder, but the sad part from my side is like, I don't want Dan to think now I'm not funny, like that I can't keep it going.
Like a dad would think.
Yeah.
You would want to be cool to your kid.
Or also like a son would think for his, it was.
That's right.
There's the whole.
I'm telling you, it was dynamic. It's dynamic.
There's a lot of emptiness here.
I'm just swooning. I go, it's so dry. I'm a bigger pussy about heat than you, and I was fine. It's incredibly quiet and free, and you can do whatever you want. Just a thought. Cody's dad loves the desert, and so Cody kind of grew up going out there with him. It was like her Dells. That's a reference to the Wisconsin Dells, where my family would go when I was a kid.
Does the next bit require a little context with the brothel thing because of my knowledge?
Yeah, I mean it does because like Cody's dad.
So I know Cody, who you all, I'm assuming, know since you watch the show and know who she is. She's a great writer, wrote a show that I worked on as well. That's how I met Dan, through directing the show that she wrote. One of the things she told me, her dad is very cool, artistic, and when she was a youth, they would go to the desert. You've heard about that so far. But there was a brothel that he went to with her, and he was like friends with some of, I don't know what happened there, but they were friends, and it seemed sweet. And I was like, that's crazy, Cody. And then we would always joke about it, and then Cody and her father recently went on a trip out there, and the brothel has since closed, and he like collected a sign from the exterior of it. And it was like sweet but funny and just a cool little side story. So I text after he suggests we go out there. It's tempting. And you know how I feel about brothels. Does Cody's dad still know a good spot? I know his favorite spot is closed, but maybe you, he, and I could find a new one together.
So then I turn to Cody and go, did you tell my dad about the brothels? And Cody goes, I don't know, I tell everybody. So on we go. And so I go, we could start one. I'm going to pitch it to Warren.
Oh, I bet he has some great thoughts on that. He'll class up the joint for sure. And then, hey, Dan, I'm really enjoying our father-son repartee. I just want to make sure you remember this is actually Heath. The timestamp on this was 10:52 p.m. on Saturday night. This started at like 8:30 p.m. that night.
And my next text is at 11:10, so that's 18 minutes later, and I didn't get anything else done. Like, I just read that and took 18 minutes to respond. Oh my God.
Somebody just got dadfished.
I wish there was a way to cheer with a rotten tomato. Like,
you don't like my Steve Harvey line of jokes? They come with a briefcase and a peacock.
you deserve cheer boos for that. Anyways, oh my God, and then. Oh my God. And then I just finished explaining this to Cody. So that's what the 18 minutes is. This is, wow. This is really so sad. I kept showing messages to Cody and being like, this is so cool. I don't know when my dad got so cool. And Cody was like, I love your dad. I told you he was cool. And I was like, yeah, but he just seems different. Like, he's funnier now. Oh my God. The darkness of this makes it worth it. I had 12 hours of the nicest, closest, most human relationship I've ever had with my dad. So Cody says you have to come on Harmontown so we can explain this whole story and read these texts and walk through it. You do understand that I really thought you were my dad the entire time, from all the way back to you congratulating me on the Emmy nom. I thought my dad was revealing he watched Great Minds. That's about it.
So many people in the back crying right now. It's okay. It's okay. What did you learn about this moment of love?
That it was fake? I mean, is there a takeaway from that?
There is. How fucking good. Okay, so here's
there is, because it's clear. It's like, oh my God, are we all? Well, forget we. I use my I statements. I am literally one sentence texted away from like reaching out emotionally to my loved ones. Like lowering my guard, of being, it makes you wonder how many sentences are we away from just like the floodgates opening with people that we don't necessarily have a 45-year backstory with, but maybe what if the postman said, or what if the postman said, "I'm a post lady"? What if your mail person? What sentence lies between you and a friendship with your post deliverer, your aunts, your uncles, your neighbors, your intimate others? Like, how many of us are in relationships where maybe you're in a funk for 6 months, and like what could one of you say that would like break the spell? It's like, and it doesn't even have to be. It's a text.
Yeah. What's great is excuse me for this, but you were super brave. Once somebody reached out to you, you became a whole different motherfucker. You got super brave. You started sharing. You did all these things.
Brave? Is it brave to fawn and be like,
brave.
hey?
It's brave to reach out to somebody who might smack your hand and remind you of why you don't.
I don't think my dad. To be clear, I don't think my dad would. In case this.
You don't take this bravery.
But I don't think. I mean, I think.
That's why you don't meet nobody.
With my family, to be clear, and I think this is an important point to make. Like, Do you need a glass? Do you want to can somebody get Heath a glass?
Steve will probably get a cup.
There's a coffee mug that says "World's Greatest Director."
You were saying, to be clear, with your family, there is.
There's not.
Steve Levy, ladies and gentlemen.
And I think. I don't think there's a lot of like harm that could come of a tentacle reaching out. You know, like.
You said tentacle, though.
It's not like. There's a wall between that exists between that happening in real life between me and my dad that's like doesn't make really any sense. That's why, as you can see, as soon as it was perforated, I never, and in spite of all of the signs that should have, if I thought I was like such an expert on why I don't like regularly text my dad "I love you" or something like that, like why don't I recognize? Why can't I tell him from a friend? The answer is because I like him.
Right.
Love him, whatever you call it. But like my family doesn't, it's like there's a lot of like, it's just like a lot of people could relate to this. Is like there's families that are like, they're proactive about like, this is how I feel about you and I love you and I'm proud of you or whatever. And then there's families that are like, they throw shoes at each other and all this stuff and like. And then there's, and then there's probably a good 70% of us that are like somewhere in the middle where we're kind of like, strained and like, I don't know.
Yeah, but in this situation, when it was presented to you, you made the choice to be fucking a bigger, better person than you might normally walk around as?
That's the only thing that I want to... I get in this argument with my therapist all the time, so maybe I'm doing this thing that she yells at me about, which is like... but I don't really think I deserve any accolades for my behavior because I wasn't really risking anything, in my opinion. Maybe you're seeing that differently. That's interesting. I didn't think about it that way. I was just... I think of myself as being the selfish one, too. Like, it's a two-way street. I don't like... I could text my dad anytime I wanted. I do it once a year, maybe, like Father's Day.
So should we give you the old challenge to say that you should text your dad about the Emmy, just to see what this conversation would really look like?
Text my dad that I got. I think he'd be more impressed with the Tesla,
Okay, either one. And we also witnessed somebody fucking being super generous.
Oh, you want me to do it now?
You do it right now! Everybody, get out your phones and call someone you love right now. I'm also going to need $1 on each one of those phone calls. Hi. My neighborhood's overrun by racism. I also want to say that we got to see somebody be so generous and just keep up a super loving act. Which is like, I don't know why this dude asked me to rub his back, but I'll rub his back. It's kind of the coolest fucking thing in the world.
Well, I didn't hear. I was waiting for Heath to look at his phone and notice that.
Oh, Jesus.
I I wanted to do the bit. And he was like, no, you just did it again.
That's me.
All right. Oh, it didn't go through. Yeah. There's no service here.
Heath, was anybody on your end watching as well?
My wife.
Okay.
Who,
Did she give you tips at all?
What was that?
Did she give you tips at all?
Oh yeah. She's funnier than I am. So I run them by. I run a lot of them by. No, she was the one that finally was like, "Are you sure that he doesn't think that you're his dad right now?" And I really didn't want to believe that was true.
But then,
You
you still.
I just wanted him to think that he and Cody were shooting the shit and getting drunk, and we're like, we should text Heath a joke. That'd be fun.
Like I'm only doing this to yes and the suggestion. I think it's kind of a douchey thing to text your dad that you got nominated for an Emmy. I find that to be not like.
Here's the thing. Last week you said, "I'm happy."
Right.
Right. So like, there's steps to being happy.
Right.
And one of the fucking steps is to celebrate the good shit. And earn. You know what I mean?
By bragging to your dad
Your
about
dad, it's not bragging when it's to your parents. They're proud of you for fucking wiping your own ass one day.
They're like,
That's
I
not
did
bragging.
that. I won that Emmy. Like, I made that.
I mean, I want to say that's not how my family works. But
I believe it, sure.
But then you'd say, well, this is the problem, is you thinking that.
I'm not going to judge you. You can do whatever you want to do. Really.
I mean, don't you think it would be better to say, like, how's your boat?
Go get that
Like, to ask
shit.
him something, like.
Go get that thing you wanted.
I don't want nothing. I don't want
you
nothing.
do. Go get that
Okay,
thing
I
you
got
wanted.
busted kind of wanting something during the story, didn't I? So that's the key. If you're 45 years old and your weekend can be eclipsed and derailed by an accidental radar ping that makes you think your dad loves you for a second, then you don't have a right to be like, I don't need nothing from nobody. You should reach out to your dad, and since you're clearly still in childhood with that relationship, you may as well say, I made a poo-poo in the Emmy potty. Okay. All right, now I see the logic of it. Okay. My show got nominated for an Emmy, exclamation point. I mean,
Well
it's,
done.
by the way, it's midnight in Florida, so he'll love that. Because he's been asleep for 6 hours, so he's probably getting about ready to get up.
Leave a voicemail.
But
Leave
it's also
a voicemail.
it's also not gonna. What's that?
Leave a voicemail.
No, come on, stop it.
Yeah. 'cause
No,
we'll get the
no.
crowd
That's a deal breaker. No, I'm pretty sure 40% of my divorce with McGathy was like my inability to FaceTime. Come on. Like I'm allowed to be part of society because of the invention of text messaging. Like I don't do the phone. Okay. Yeah, I sent it, and there you go. It went through. Yeah. But I'm telling you, like come on, I'm already the obnoxious Hollywood son. Like I think he's gonna.